What is going on, traders? We gotta talk about it. We gotta get you guys prepared for what can potentially happen next within the stock market. Before we start, like, subscribe, comment your thoughts below. Let's get into the video. So right now we are looking at the SPY 4-hour time frame, and we talked about this. Today was absolutely crazy, right? We saw these massive traps just happen in both directions, and ultimately the bears ended up winning. And so the question is, are we going to continue to see more downside? And I do think that's going to be the case. And so the key levels that I gave you guys in the last video was 584. Once we broke below 584, we saw a move all the way towards 580. Now I think it goes without saying that 580 needs to hold. 580 is our psych level, right? But another level I gave you guys was 578. If we break 578, then we will be breaking the neckline of this head and shoulders pattern. You got your shoulder here, your head here, and another shoulder here. And once we break 578 and actually hold, then we can be looking at a move towards this gap fill all the way towards 576. Now I'm going to stand by what I said in the last video. If we give up this neckline on this head and shoulders pattern, we can start heading towards the low 560s. Now I know that sounds crazy, but hear me out here if you are new to this channel. And so how I'm getting this target is all I'm doing is measuring the projected move of this head and shoulders pattern. So you would measure from the top of the head all the way to the neckline or to the bottom of the shoulder, and then you would drag that measurement to the bottom of the neckline or a neckline break, and then there's your measured move or your projected move all the way towards 560. It's also important to note that you do have a gap all the way at the 560. So it's very much possible that we can head to the 560s on the SPY. Now when that happens, I can't say for sure. Obviously your first target that you really want to focus on if you are looking to be bearish is 576. You got your gap fill right here. You got not only one gap, but you got two gaps in this area. So that will be my main focus for now, and then we'll have to see what happens from there. Now as long as we stay below 586, there's very much potential for more downside, but obviously you want to see 584 break, then you're heading to 580. We already saw that happen today, but once we break below 584 again, I do imagine we're going to see that move happen all over again. But ultimately the main thing you want to see hold if you are trying to be bullish, if you want to see the market bounce back, is 578, which will be our neckline. Now, what happens if we do see some type of bounce, right? If we do see some type of bounce, I wouldn't necessarily be bullish just yet. I told you guys in the last video that I won't be bullish until we reclaim 598. If we reclaim 598, then I will start leaning towards bullish. I won't be like full-blown bullish or anything like that, but I will start leaning towards being bullish all over again. But for me to be like super bullish or like crazy bullish, right, or talk about, you know, all-time highs or previous highs, I want to see 602 get reclaimed. Okay, if we can reclaim 602, then we can definitely start talking about previous highs or even new highs all over again. We reclaim 602, then you're heading towards 604. After that, you're looking at a move towards previous highs at around 608.5, and then as far as all-time highs go, we can start seeing a move towards 614. But for now, I have to lean bearish. Everything is pointing towards being bearish right now. Can we see upside? Absolutely. I'm not saying we're just going to completely drop from here. We can see some type of retest towards the upside, but me personally, any retest towards the upside, I'm going to take with a grain of salt until we start breaking above those key levels. Now, another thing and one last thing is that there is potential for some type of double bottom here. I want to make that clear, right? You do have a bottom here, and then if we get some type of green candle, me personally, I would like to see multiple bullish candles in this area heading towards 598. We can start talking about some type of double bottom here. So you'll have your bottom right here, and then you'll have a potential bottom right here, given that we have, you know, some type of bullish momentum from this area. And so if we break above the neckline of 602, then that will pretty much confirm that you have a double bottom here. So something to look out for. It's not yet confirmed. There's no, you know, confirmation that there is a double bottom here, but it's very much possible in this area, especially considering just how strong bulls are in this area. And it looks like bears are really trying to stop these guys out of their position. So those are the two things that I'm going to be looking at. Pay attention to those levels, to both the upside and to the downside. For me personally, I'm still leaning more bearish towards the downside. I want to see this gap get filled at 576, and again, if we break this neckline on this head and shoulders pattern, we can start heading towards the low 560s. Now, looking at the triple Qs, I warned you guys about this, right? I told you guys we break below 510, we're heading towards 507. We headed as low as about 505, and your key level here that you really want to see hold is about 503. You break below 503, you're heading towards 500. 500 is a very strong psych level. So if you start breaking below 500, that's when things get really really ugly, and you can start seeing moves all the way towards the 492s. Now, we talked about 492 before, and I told you guys that that is one of my targets for the downside in the near future, and I do think we can head there. Now, after 500, you're obviously, I don't think you're going to just head straight to 492. You do have a level right here. There's a lot of turbulence in this area at around 498, so it's going to be a journey there. I don't think it's just going to happen overnight or anything like that. Obviously, I think it's just going to be a lot of, traps towards the upside and traps towards the downside before we even see a move to 492. And as you guys can see, you have not one but two gaps, just like we saw on the SPY in this area. Now, somebody asked me, can we go much lower than that? I mean, it's obviously possible that we can go lower than that. Me personally, I'm not counting on it just right now. I do think a bounce is bound to happen, and when I say a bounce, I mean like a massive bounce back towards the upside. It's just a matter of when, and once I get that confirmation, obviously I will let you guys know. Discord members will know before anyone else, but obviously I will put out a video letting you guys know that I do think it's time for a dip buying opportunity. And so that's what I'm looking at for the triple Qs in regards to downside. Now, in regards to upside, it still remains the same. 515. We saw 515 try to get reclaimed today, and bulls just cannot keep up. We go to the 4-hour time frame here. As you guys can see, bulls they just couldn't hold this level. You saw a break back towards the upside. You retested 518, so that's another key level, 518. You rejected the bottom of this rising channel, and then you broke back below 515 and started heading towards 505. So for me to be slightly bullish, I would want to see 518 get reclaimed. After that, you're looking at 520 psych level. For me to be really, really bullish, and I mean like start talking about all-time highs or even previous highs, we want to see 529 get reclaimed. Then once again, you do have potential for some type of double bottom here. It's not yet confirmed, of course, but you do have potential for a move right here where you see a bottom here, and then if we get some type of bullish momentum in this area here and we start seeing a break back towards the upside, maybe above 518 all over again, then we can definitely start talking about potential for a double bottom here, and then your neckline will be at around 529, 530 psych level. After that, if you just so happen to break the neckline, let's say, let's entertain the idea that you do have a double bottom here. If you break this neckline, then you're definitely going to head towards previous highs at around 537, 539 range, and then all-time highs, we can start talking about a move all the way to about 548, 550. But right now, I'm not seeing that in the cards just yet. We want to wait for confirmation. We do not want to jump the gun, at least for me. You guys do what you want with this information. So let's get into, so first thing first, I want to talk about the Nasdaq real quick. I know it's essentially the same as the triple Qs, but across the board, you're seeing descending triangles form. If you don't know what a descending triangle is, it's just a pattern that creates lower highs, and then you have a flat bottom. So you have a high here, lower high here, and then you have a flat bottom. Now, if we do just so happen to bounce here, there's very much potential to bounce all the way towards about 21,700. I'm not seeing that just yet. We want to wait for some type of confirmation. I would like to see the NQ at least reclaim 21,400 before we even start talking about that. But it's very much possible that if we do see a bounce from here, that we can start heading as high as about 21,800. So that is possible if we're looking to be bullish. Now, in regards to being bearish, 21, and I put this in the community tab. In case you guys don't know, I post my charts all the time in the community tab, right? So all the time I'm posting here. I mean, you see it all the time. You got some people that's liking it, but if you want to follow, community tab is here. I don't know if I want to charge for this yet, like some monthly fee or whatever the case may be. I know some people do that, but I don't know if I wanted to do that. But I mean, I post my charts here. Someone was asking, do I like post on Twitter? I don't, but I can. I might do that in the near future. We'll see. But for now, I post, most of my charts or most of my ideas within the community tab, if not the Discord. So something to look out for in regards to if you want any ideas in regards to how I trade, or you want to see what I'm looking at. Tesla, we've been calling Tesla out here for, I don't know, a week now or so. Tesla drop and all that. I've been talking about the NQ. I'll let you guys know that 21,040 was your last line of defense, and we saw a nice little bounce off that area. Tesla, last line of defense. This was before the drop, the massive drop that we just saw. I believe this morning off those delivery numbers. So yeah, I talk about this. I talk about all my ideas here. Microsoft, I put this out today. I said Microsoft breaks through 419 and hold. You're holding. I mean, you're looking at a move towards 412, 415, and that's exactly what happened with Microsoft. You saw a complete breakdown on that stock. So just make sure you follow. Turn on notifications if you want to see all my charts and my ideas in the community tab. But anyway, back to the charts here. So again, you do have a descending triangle. You want to see a break back below 21,040. You break below 21,040. Your cycle level is at 21,000. I would say 20,990. After that, you have massive downside on the way if you break below this descending triangle. If we're talking about a measured move here, guys, if we're talking about a measured move, right, you measure the open and close of this descending triangle, you bring it back towards the bottom, you bring that measurement towards the bottom, you can start looking at a move towards the 19,000s, okay? I'm not seeing that, okay? I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon, but it's very much possible, okay? We're not going to take it off the table or anything, but I would just like to see more confirmation before I start talking about moves all the way towards 19,800. That's a big move, okay? That's a very big move, even from the targets that I put out, okay? So we definitely want to keep that in mind if we're talking about breaking below this descending triangle. US 100. So US 100, another ETF, not ETF, indice that has a descending triangle here. You got your high here, your lower high here, and then you have a flat bottom as well. So you're going to see these all over the place, guys. Descending triangles all across the board. They're very bearish patterns. We start breaking necklines here. Things can get ugly. You're looking at a break of 20,000. I would say 20,700 just to be safe. You break below 20,700. You can start seeing some massive, major moves towards the downside. So definitely keep this in mind. Mark this on your charts if you are the type of trader to trade off patterns. Otherwise, just pay attention to see what happens more than anything, or get your own confirmation. As long as the US 100 stays below 21,200, I'm going to remain pretty bearish. We get back above 21,200, then there's potential for a brighter future. We'll see. Okay, but for now, things just are not looking good if I'm not making that clear. All right, so triple Qs, we went over SPY. Okay, so let's get into some stocks. So Tesla. So someone's been asking me, where do I think Tesla's going to go from here? Me personally, I think Tesla can head as low as about 360s. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen tomorrow or overnight or anything, but I do think that is very much a potential target. And the reason why I say that is because if we look here, you see a lot of rejection in this area at the 360. So you got a rejection here, you got a rejection here, you got a lot of rejections here, and then you finally broke out, but you never retested this area. So I do think that's where Tesla is trying to head towards, around 360. And so the next question, I'm sure somebody's going to ask me, should I buy at 360? I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to tell you what to buy or anything like that. You want my ideas, then you can follow on the community tab, or you can join the Discord. The community tab is obviously free. It's just I'm going to post less frequently than the Discord in there. But in regards to buying opportunities, I would say anywhere between 360 and 330 is a great buying opportunity in my opinion for Tesla. You do have a gap all the way at 320, so that's very much possible as well. But if you're talking long term in regards to Tesla, like if you're trying to buy shares or anything like that, you would just have to play it by zones, in my opinion. We'll talk about that in the future. But otherwise, when I think Tesla is going to have a good buying opportunity, I will put that out for me personally, and then you guys can do what you want with that information. But for me right now, I'm looking at 360. I want to see how Tesla reacts at the 360 level, and then we'll have to see what happens from there. In regards to upside for Tesla, 410. So we talked about this, right? I kept telling you guys over and over, 410. You break below 410, it gets ugly. Okay, it gets really, really ugly. And what happened? We broke below 410, I think the day before New Year, and then we held below 410. Came delivery numbers, and look what happened. You got those delivery numbers, and boom, you started to break down. And so, a lot of traders tell me all the time that you shouldn't trade off news, or you shouldn't trade during news, or you shouldn't do this and all that stuff. But the charts tell you everything you need to know before any type of news comes in, unless it's like a black swan event. But any news that you see coming, the charts will tell you everything you need to know. That's my opinion. You do what you want, you believe what you want. And so congratulations to Discord members as well. A lot of you just absolutely killed this play. Those 315 puts for Tesla. This guy did 380 puts. He made about $2,000 off that play. So yeah, we crushed Tesla. I know a few other members went crazy. You guys don't post in the winners tab. You always post your winnings in the chat room as well. So it's really hard to keep up with everything. But regardless, yeah, I told you guys in one video that we were in, what was it, 415 puts for Tesla. Heading into delivery numbers. I took profit prior to delivery numbers, but a lot of members decided to hold through that. So yeah, congratulations to those members. And also, if you were following that play that I put out on that video, then congratulations to you as well. If you did it on your own, then congratulations regardless. But regardless, Tesla 360, that's what I will be looking out for. Until it reclaims 410, I'm just not interested in upside right now. If it reclaims 410, then you can start talking about moves back towards the 450s. And so that's what I'm looking at for Tesla. Apple. I'm loving Apple to the downside right now. I think Apple is going to absolutely crush the downside, in my opinion. Obviously, there's probably going to be bounces along the way, but here's why. Okay, if this weekly closes like this, so I put this in the community tab as well, so you're free to check it out. But there's an evening star pattern right here on Apple. And so if this closes like this, guys, you can start heading towards the low 230s, like 234, 232 range, right where these guys are in this area. Okay, so you got your evening star pattern, you got a bullish candle, then you have like some type of doji spinning top pattern, and then you have a bearish engulfing candle. Now, obviously, it's the weekly chart, so tomorrow, maybe if the market gets a bounce, this can easily change into a whatever pattern. But for now, we are forming an evening star pattern, which is a very strong bearish pattern. And if this continues, then within the next few weeks or so, or even next week, Apple can start heading towards the low 230s. So that's what I'm looking at for Apple. Now, if we break below this rising wedge pattern on Apple, guys, you can start looking at 200s, okay, the low 200s, okay. So we'll talk about that if we ever get that sign or get some type of confirmation of that possibly happening. I know that target sounds crazy, but I mean, is it really? I mean, you do have tons of fair value gaps to the downside in the low 200s on Apple, so it's definitely possible that we can head back down there. Maybe earnings is trash or something. We'll see. But Apple, right now, I'm liking Apple towards the downside. If Apple just so happens to bless us with a retest about around 250, then you definitely are. I would definitely look for puts. That's just me. Okay. And the reason why I say that is you look at the monthly chart. I showed this in the Discord. In this area up here, bears are very much present in this area. So you have an evening star pattern on the weekly time frame, and then you go to the monthly time frame, and you got bears just lurking at the 250s and above area. So if we get back up here, I would definitely be looking for opportunities to get puts on Apple. But yeah, Apple just looks absolutely beautiful right now. For downside, we'll just have to wait for more confirmation and see if this weekly pattern closes like this. So that's what I'm looking at for Apple. Meta. So I love Meta right now. Well, I wouldn't say I love Meta. It's kind of annoying. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of annoying. But at some point in time, I do think Meta is going to catch up with the market, or want to catch up with this downside that's currently happening in the market. And so we have us a rising wedge pattern, and then not only that, but you have a descending triangle forming. And so we go to the 4-hour time frame here, and as you guys can see, we are pretty much at the top of this descending triangle. And so as long as Meta stays below 608, you have potential for more downside here. And so if you pay attention and you look closely, there is a gap all the way at 586 range. So definitely look for that move. Maybe we hit the top of this descending triangle one last time, and then we start seeing some type of downside from here. So Meta, not too bullish on until it gets back above 608. I would say 610 psych level to be safe. So maybe we see a move like this. We pretty much feel this gap, and then we start playing games in this area for a bit before seeing a complete meltdown on Meta. But 560 is still in my radar for Meta. I still think that is very much a potential target for Meta. It's just a matter of what's going to cause this thing to drop, because right now the market is dropping and Meta is still holding up strong. So I do think at some point in time, anytime you see stocks that's just like holding up in whatever direction, holding up while the market is doing something, at some point in time that stock is going to want to catch up, especially when you're talking about like Mega 7 type stocks and things like that. So Maybe Meta's waiting on some personal news. I don't know, but you definitely want to look out for this descending triangle and see what happens from here. So that's what I'm watching for Meta. I'm going to see what happens tomorrow. Maybe Monday we jump into another play. We took profit on our 580 puts. Once Meta hit like 584, we took profits on that. So yeah, congratulations to Discord members on that as well. Nvidia, because if I don't talk about Nvidia, you guys go crazy in the comments. So Nvidia being above 138 is a good sign. Now, what I will say is that Nvidia might be like a hedge right now. And what I mean by that is that you're seeing a lot of Mega 7 drop, or not even Mega 7, but a few stocks just drop in general, or big tech stocks drop in general. And then you're seeing like stocks like Nvidia or Meta holding up. So this could be like a slow type of bleed effect or some type of rotation happening right now, where you're just seeing, hedge funds or institutions just pretty much sit in Nvidia and see what happens. I could be wrong, but that's what it's looking like right now, because Nvidia is still holding up pretty strong. Now, you want to see Nvidia hold 138, but the fact that we cut through this level so many times, it's just, I'm not taking this level serious anymore, because I mean, look how often we cut through this level. I mean, you see it over and over. So what I would like to see for Nvidia is a close above 140.5, and then if we close above that, then we're looking at a move towards 143, 145, and then after that, we can start heading towards 150. So that's what I'm looking at for Nvidia. It doesn't look too bearish right now. It doesn't really look bearish at all. It doesn't look like it wants to do anything right now. I imagine it's waiting on news or whatever. We'll have to wait and see. In the future, I do think Nvidia is going to revisit 120, between 120 and 115. So it's all a matter of when. Maybe they have bad earnings. Maybe that causes it. I don't know. But right now, Nvidia doesn't look great, but it doesn't look bad either, if that makes sense. So as long as it stays above 138, there's a glimmer of hope. There's a slight chance of hope. Microsoft. So Microsoft, like I posted in the community tab, when Microsoft gets below 419, you're heading towards the 415, 412 range, and you headed as low as about 414.5. So in regards to Microsoft, yeah, like I said, this thing's annoying to trade. We jumped into 420 puts today. We took profit on those. We got in at around 423, 422, somewhere around there. But we definitely took Microsoft puts. We did 420 puts. We pretty much had an undefeated day. So yeah, pretty good day, pretty good week so far. I don't think we lost a trade yet, so it's really, really good week. But Microsoft, if the market continues to remain bearish, if Microsoft stays below 419, you are looking at a move towards the low 400s. 412 will be my next target, as long as it's, I mean, look at this. I mean, you zoom in on a 4-hour time frame, and I mean, you broke below not only support here at around 420, 419, but then you broke below this trend. So yeah, Microsoft can definitely head further down. I would look for a move towards 412, 410, and then from there you can start heading towards the low 400s. But yeah, Microsoft just doesn't look too great, and that's all I got for Microsoft. AVGO. So AVGO is holding up so far. I do think AVGO is going to eventually just crash and burn. I don't know if it's like playing a part with Nvidia right now. I don't know if semiconductors are like, holding hands right now, and maybe there's a rotation into all of them. But right now, I do think AVGO is holding up pretty well. But at some point in time, I do imagine this thing is going to drop. It's just a matter of when. So it's important not to jump the gun, get some type of confirmation. If AVGO gets below 229, then you're definitely going to be looking at more downside towards 223, 225 psych level, of course. But then 223 gap fill after that. So watch out for AVGO. You get below these guys right here at around 210, we'll say 210. Yeah, you get very illiquid, guys. You get extremely illiquid, like insanely illiquid. You start dropping towards the 180s. All right, 180. So I told you guys about 598 on the SPY. You saw what happened. I told you guys what happened about with 410 on Tesla. You saw exactly what happened. Now I'm telling you guys again, you get below 210 on AVGO, pack your bags. You're going to the Earth's core. All right, so that's what I'm looking at for AVGO in regards to downside. As far as upside goes, 240. Until it reclaims 240, there's not much to talk about here in regards to upside. After 240, you're looking at a move towards these guys here at around 245, 246, and then we'll have to see what happens from there, because this is a very tough area. Like, this is very tough, so I can't imagine how we're going to break past that without some type of news, so we'll see. I mean, here too, so 250, between 246, 250 is very tough for AVGO, so we'll definitely need some type of news to even think about breaking above that area. So that's what I'm looking at for AVGO. Someone asked me about MSTR. The thing about crypto stocks, guys, is that I don't look at them because I mean, they just follow Bitcoin. So you just look at Bitcoin. Like that's just me. But we'll look at MSTR. I mean, again, I don't see a point in looking at crypto stocks. This is not like a jab or anything, guys. It's just like it just makes sense, right? Like you will look at Bitcoin if you're trying to look at a crypto stock. That just makes sense, right? But in regards to MSTR, as long as MSTR stays below 317, this level right here, I would say 315 psych level. As long as it stays below 315, pretty bearish on this thing. It looks like it wants to head towards this gap fill at around 274, 275, somewhere around here. But right here, lowest it can be looking at is about 260s, about 265, 260. So not too bullish on this thing. I mean, but again, this follows Bitcoin, so I don't think it necessarily matters looking at this chart unless you're looking at Bitcoin. So I would just look at Bitcoin. And so we look at Bitcoin here, and right now Bitcoin is breaking out. And so that's why you should look at Bitcoin, because looking at like the crypto stocks charts just wouldn't make sense unless you just look at Bitcoin. So right now Bitcoin looks okay in regards to upside. And like I said in the last video, I'm not interested in Bitcoin until it gets back above 100K. If it gets back above 100K, then we can definitely start talking about more upside here. We can start looking at a move towards 102K.7, 102.7K, and then after that you're looking at a move towards 105 and then 108. Highest I think Bitcoin can go this year. I was about to say this upcoming year, but this year I think Bitcoin can start head as high as about 130s. Okay, 130K. I'm not saying it's going to happen from here or anything. Obviously, I think we're going to see some type of drop prior to that. But definitely think Bitcoin can head as high as about 130K. Minimum I'm looking at is about 120K. But yeah, again, until Bitcoin gets above 100K, I'm not interested. I'm sorry. I'm just not. But this is a good sign. This is a good sign. You're breaking above this rising wedge. The measured move is about 120K for this rising wedge. So it's a good sign so far. Again, I just would like to see 100K get reclaimed on Bitcoin. And so that's pretty much all I'm looking at right now. There was some monthly charts that I want to look at real quick. So in regards to monthly chart, the triple Qs, I think it's the triple Qs I was looking at. This guy right here. So let's get rid of all this. Actually, let's get rid of all of this. This is a bearish sign, guys. This is a very bearish sign right here. I mean, yeah. This is a very bearish sign. And then I think NQ had one as well. Yeah. So this is what I pointed out to Discord members. You have the same signs on both monthly charts. So right here, guys, I mean, you do the math. Simple as this. You got the same pattern right here, and then you have the same pattern right here. So you see what happened back here when this pattern formed, right? This reversal pattern formed. The next month you had somewhat of a doji, but then the following month after that, so we can say maybe February, this time we may see a drop, maybe. I don't know yet, but regardless, if we're talking about like the same scenario right here, we can be looking at a drop in the near future. And even when you go back here, you're seeing the same pattern right here, right? You see a drop happen almost immediately after. So yeah, monthly chart for December we didn't close too well for December. I will say that much. This is why I kept saying I don't anticipate a Santa rally, and so far things are playing out exactly like I thought. Yeah, but right now I would be very cautious for at least the month of February. If anything, if this month just closes out like pretty, meh, or even if we see a little downside or a little upside, I definitely think February is going to end up being pretty bad. We'll have to wait and see. But other than that, that's really all I have for this video. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. Discord link is in the description below if you want to see how I'm going to trade for the rest of the year 2025. So far, we are starting off the year absolutely amazing in the Discord. All those plays that I showed you guys in that one video, I showed you guys those meta puts. I showed you guys that we were in SPY 575 puts. We took profit on those puts as well in the Discord. What else? I showed you guys, we're still in the IWM 215 puts for February 21st, so we're still in those. And Tesla, I showed you guys those 415 puts on Tesla. We took profit on those as well. So we took profit on majority of those plays that I showed you guys on that one video. And the only thing we're really holding is those IWM puts. So as you guys can see, when I talk, I trade what I believe in. Okay, I trade what I believe in. I don't just sit on this channel and just talk and give you guys levels. When I say I think the market is going to drop, I trade that drop. If I think the market is going to go to the upside, I trade the upside. Simple as that. A lot of YouTubers, they just give you guys trade ideas and they don't actually trade anything. They just give you ideas. Okay, they're just like, yeah, if you want to take this play, you can. I'm just gonna sit back and trade on my own without, and you guys pay for my ideas, So that's those type of YouTubers I can't stand. Those type of Discord hosts I can't stand. Those who don't trade what they believe in, because it just shows that they're not confident in their own strategy. But that's just me ranting. Again, Discord link is in the description below. If you agree, let me know. If you disagree, let me know in the comments as well. Just keep it respectful as always. Until the next video, traders, have you a good one.